Shh. It's time for Mike at Night to start. Fall back and let Head pop his shh.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. You already know what time it is. This is Mike at Night, where the conversation never sleeps. I am your host.
Hit in the hood, but I stay out the way. I stay in my pay. Y'all nigga peons just in the way. Head like Dion, I'm picking the play, about to ruin your day.
Know what I'm talking about? And tonight, we're going to talk about something major, man. A major situation that's putting a dark cloud over the Dallas hip hop scene. This so-called Operation Blue Laces, which according to the ATF and DPD, this is a massive police crackdown targeting rappers, their crews, and their movements. But is this really about justice, man? Or is this just another attack on hip-hop culture? Let's break it all down right now. What is Operation Blue Laces? So let's start with the facts, y'all. Operation Blue Laces is being pushed as a major major law enforcement effort to crack down on crime in Dallas, particularly gang activity. But what's most interesting is how heavy this operation is focused on hip-hop artists, y'all. I mean, like, they target artists. That's just what's going on right now in Dallas. But let's break down what Operation Blue Laces is all about. According to the U.S. Attorney Office for the Northern District of Texas, this ATF-led operation resulted in the arrest of 8 members of the 4-2 Oakland Crip Street Gang in South Dallas, which is also the neighborhood of Zillionaire Doe. The operation, it targeted the Wheatley Place neighborhood, specifically an area known as the Dead End, where daily drug dealings were reported. According to law enforcement, this operation is targeting criminal networks involved in drugs, violence, and illegal activity. But the closer you look, you'll notice a pattern. Many of the people being arrested and investigated are rappers, producers, and people affiliated with the music scene. Now, why is that? Now, I'm not saying crime doesn't exist, but let's ask that real question. Is this really about stopping crime, y'all? Or is it about controlling and silencing a movement that's getting too big? We all know they don't like it when minorities blow up and get too big for their britches. And that's kind of what's going on in Dallas with a lot of the artists. They are blowing up. Artists like Zillionaire Doe, artists like Montana 700, Big X the Plug, Trap Boy Freddy, Yellow Beezy, Gunna Meezy, T Bleezy, Go Yayo, CJ Casino. A lot of different artists in the city are blown up, but they are often targeted by law enforcement. And with that, with hip hop and the justice system, there's a history of targeting. If you've been watching hip hop for long enough, you already know this isn't new. Hip hop, whether you call them hip hop, rap artists has always been targeted by law enforcement. Whether it was NWA getting warnings from the FBI, or the NYPD creating a special hip hop police units. Or how about the RICO cases we were seeing not too long ago in Atlanta? Across the country, there have been many instances where artists and their affiliates have been targeted in large-scale operations. You know, this happens too often. While the intent is often to curb criminal activity, it really raises concerns about the broader impact on the culture and the potential for profiling. For instance, The pattern is clear. When the movement gets too big, when rappers start gaining influence in their communities, that's when the heat comes down. But let's be real. We got to keep it all the way 100, y'all. Do they apply the same level of scrutiny to other music genres? Are rock stars getting their lyrics used as evidence? Are country singers getting locked up for talking about guns and drugs in their songs? Nah. So why is it always hip hop? Why is it only rappers? You even got to think about the role of the lyrics. It's almost now, is it considered art or evidence? One of the wildest parts of all of this is how they're using lyrics as evidence. Like in multiple cases, police are pulling up rap lyrics and saying, see, this is a confession. But when an actor plays a killer in a movie, nobody think they actually caught a body. When rock stars talk about drug use, nobody's bringing them to court. So why are rappers treated differently? Why is the hip hop culture treated differently? Think about it. We've seen it before. Rappers in court, prosecutor reading off their lyrics. Think about it. In 2009, Baton Rouge rapper Lil Boosie will be the first victim of this.
The jury will be allowed to hear violent lyrics at the murder trial of a Louisiana rapper. A judge ruled today that prosecutors can play lyrics from Torrance Hatch's music. Hatch, better known as Lil Boosie, is accused of hiring a man to kill Terry Boyd in Baton Rouge in 2009. The rapper's lawyers argue the music has nothing to do with the case, but State District Judge Mike Irwin disagreed. Defense attorneys plan to appeal the ruling.
Then it would be Fort Worth rapper Tay-K when he did The Race, got caught, and the lyrics were used against him.
A 24-year-old convicted murderer set to head to trial in a capital murder case next year. Former Texas rapper Tamor McIntyre is accused of fatally shooting and robbing a 23-year-old man. Eric Hernandez takes us inside the courtroom as it was decided when jury selection and the trial would begin.
They're all the same.
Tamor McIntyre, known for his stage name TK47, sat quietly in the courtroom as his case was awaiting to be called up. McIntyre, already convicted of murder in Tarrant County and sentenced to 55 years in prison, has been awaiting trial in the April 2017 capital murder of Mark Anthony Saldivar. According to an arrest affidavit, Saldivar was robbed of his camera equipment and fatally shot in the Chick-fil-A parking lot across from North Star Mall. At the time, McIntyre was on the run after cutting his GPS monitor while out on bond awaiting trial. McIntyre was later caught in New Jersey. But while on the run, he released a song called The Race. The music video on YouTube has more than 360 million views, and the song ended up on the Billboard Hot 100. In it, he posed in front of his wanted
But we know
poster.
more recent situations, like in the summer of 2022, popular rap artist Young Thug and Gunna both were indicted on charges of violating the Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organizations Act, known as the RICO, as well as a number of other gang, drug, and firearm-related charges. The indictment relied heavily on the artist's lyrics, using their music as evidence of guilt. In 2019, Tekashi 6ix9ine faced similar charges based on his lyrics until it was found out that the 9 Trey Bloods were going to kill him, and he switched sides and sided with the prosecutor and took the stand, being that he was scared to move a certain way and out of fear of his life. Prosecutors have used rap lyrics as evidence of guilt in countless cases in recent years against well-known stars and amateurs artists alike. They're really not discriminating, y'all. So we got to ask, are we at a point where rappers can't even express themselves without it being used against them? Is hip-hop on trial? Or are artists really out here making it easy for law enforcement to connect the dots? Y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Should rappers be more careful, or is this an attack on their freedom of expression?
Concerns that I have and my co-author also has. One is, right, when we think about the nature of rap music, rap lyrics, right, it is a creative art form. It is a form of expression. It could be, right, expressing a range of emotions or experiences, right, but it is inherently a fictional art form, right? And so the concern is that this evidence, so to speak, right, is being introduced into the legal process, in particular the criminal legal process, where the stakes are very high, without critical thought or scrutiny as to whether or not this fictional art form has some reliability such that it can be used at least somewhat as evidence and can be factored in or should be factored into decision making, particularly by jurors. So we're particularly concerned about the use of what is inherently a creative fictional art form in literal ways, in uncritical ways. And the second concern relates to the potential for unfair prejudice, right? Because rap, right, is an art form birthed by young Black and Latino men, right, in the Bronx, New York, right, and that has, right, particular, origins, and how people think about, right, rap music, even today, almost 50 years later, right, that it is predominantly an art form associated with Black and brown young men, right, and the negative stories that have been portrayed in the media, the negative perceptions that individuals have about rap music, right, coupled with negative perceptions about Black and Latino young men, right, that is a way to introduce the use of stereotypes or biases, express or unconscious or implicit, we say, into the criminal legal process. And so the use of this type of evidence, right, injects either intentionally or unintentionally the possibility of unfair prejudice against defendants.
And I believe that's because of the role media, the community, and the public perception of hip-hop.
Harassment and racial profiling. Some say by trying to solve one problem, Dallas has created a
media
new one.
coverage plays a significant role in shaping public perception of these operations. Sensational headlines can lead to the vilification of entire communities, entire record labels, entire families.
We have a lot of gun shooting. Police would come out when you call them right away. Now when you call the police, it might be 4, 5, or 6 hours before one get out here.
The FBI says roughly 24 people are now facing federal charges related to drugs, weapons, and more after the feds hit roughly a dozen locations in Oak Cliff Thursday morning in collaboration with Dallas Police Department.
It's crucial for us to critically analyze the information, the broader context. Just think about what's going on with Diddy right now and how media is slandering him and villainizing him, not slandering, but villainizing him. Think about how they're trying to villainize Jay-Z. Well, it's the same thing in Dallas. They villainized Mo 3. And then he was later killed. After he was killed, the perception of the media pointed out Yellow Beezy and Trap Boy Freddy, and their numbers took a hit, and they took a hit. It's almost as if they were blackballed. So we must ask ourselves, are we allowing media narratives to dictate our understanding of these events, or are we engaging with the facts and the people directly affected?
Out of jail this morning after he was arrested for possession of marijuana. Police say he first pulled over this week, or was pulled over for an expired registration. Big X, the Plug's biggest hit, Texas, has more than 200 million streams across Spotify and YouTube. His new song is set to drop today.
See, here's where it really hits home for me, though. Whether these arrests are fair or not, the truth is This is shaking up Dallas, and especially the Dallas hip hop scene, in a major way. Now, we've seen artists start to rise, starting to build something big, and now, boom, they're either getting locked up, getting blackballed, too scared to move a certain way, or worst of all, they die. Just like Mo3. Think about it. If every rapper in the city is being watched, if every music video is being used as evidence, how does this scene grow? How do artists move forward when they feel like they're being hunted? It's literally an attack on the artist. And it's a sad situation, y'all. And as far as Dallas, the hip hop scene, how can we survive this? So what's next? How do Dallas artists, producers, and the creatives move in this new reality? Is it time for a shift in how artists present themselves? Should there be more legal protections for rappers facing unfair targeting? Or does the culture just need to stand up and fight back? In my opinion, I believe we need to stand up and fight back. And there should also be more legal protections from protecting rappers from facing unfair targeting. Keep a legal team on deck. Get more involved in your communities to help so you have backup pushing back against unfair targeting from law enforcement. But at the end of the day, hip hop has always been about resilience. They tried to shut it down in the 80s. They tried to kill it with lawsuits in the 90s. They tried to box it in during the 2000s. But the culture always finds a way to keep going. The real question is, what's next for Dallas hip hop? And will the city come together to protect its own? It's a known fact this is deeper than rap. They don't want us to have power. And that's real talk. Yeah, like for real. They don't want us to have power. They don't want to see you be successful. They don't want to see us rise from the bottom, from those ashes. You know, what do y'all think? Are these crackdowns justified? Or is this just another way to control our culture? Man, I could go all night with this one, but we got to wrap it up. If you care about the future of Dallas hip hop, if you care about the culture, make sure you subscribe and keep the conversation going on with me on my, all social media platforms at HED214. This is the Mike at Night, where the conversation never sleeps. Stay sharp, stay aware, and don't let them rewrite the narrative. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm gone.
Me, huh? How I feel to be a motherfucking real one. Wouldn't know the feeling, nigga, cause you ain't one. How I feel to really make it out the mud. One time for the ones who already knew they really would.